Hello and welcome back to my channel. In this video, we'll be discussing tips for the removal and replacement of the MAFS airflow sensor on this 2025 Nissan Kicks with a 2.0 liter engine. If you find my tips to be helpful, please like, subscribe, and comment. Now let's get started. The MAFS airflow sensor is located in the center of your screen near the tip of my red pointer. Some of the symptoms associated with a faulty sensor include loss of power, difficult starting, a jerky start, and you might also have trouble codes P0101, P0102, P0171, and P0174. So you might ask, what does this part do? Well, it measures the amount and temperature of air entering the engine, which helps the ECM calculate the correct air-fuel ratio. Supplies needed for this repair include a MAFS airflow sensor if needed, MAFS airflow sensor spray, an air filter, and a cross-tip screwdriver. Please see other items in the description below. So let's go ahead and move forward with the removal and replacement of the sensor. Okay, we have two screws holding the sensor on. There's one screw here and one screw there. This sensor only fits on this mount one way, okay? And if you look, there's a little tab right there that's connected to this housing. That goes into the demounting flange of the sensor itself. So if you had it flipped around, it's not going to seat properly. Okay. So what I like to do is put my hand underneath the screw and then unscrew. And to get it started initially, when you're taking it off, what you want to do is get that screwdriver seated very firmly. Hold on tight and just slowly twist and it'll snap loose, okay? But you gotta hold that cross-tip screwdriver in there very tight so that you don't strip the bolt, all right? There you go. Next, we have some tape here that's covering up the clip or the tab that allows you to remove the electrical connector. But if you just squeeze right there and pull away, there you go. Okay. Pull out what I call the blade, and there you have it. That is your MAFS airflow sensor. And so we're going to take a look at it starting from the top. We have our 4 electrical prongs. Actually, it looks like there's 4 and 1 small prong. I'm not sure what that is way down there. Then you have your flange. So that helps to mount it. And if you notice, there's little metal rings in here. And that's made so that you can really tighten down on this sensor because this is an airtight seal, right? So it needs to be very tight. Right here, it's very hard to see, but there is a rubber gasket. Okay? Goes all the way around. That needs to be in place. You need to stick your thumb in it a little bit, your thumbnail, check and see that it's pliable. If it's not pliable, it's likely that you have an air leak. So now I'm going to orient the sensor in the way that it would be if it was sitting in the car. And so there's that little notch that corresponds with the tab sticking out here. And the reason I'm doing this is because I want to show you the direction that air flows through. So air flows through this way and into the engine, okay? And so what you have is, it's hard to see, but there's a little opening there, and you can see how air sweeps up through here, right? And then that spins something on the inside, and then that spinning motion is recorded and sent to the engine. Okay, can you guys see that? How it captures that air in that little pocket, spins it up, and then somehow releases it. I'm not sure exactly, but also right here, you see there's a very small sensor. Okay, now that's more than likely, that's for the temperature. So I'm going to stop right here, and I'm going to move over and talk about the air filter for a minute, and then we're going to come back over here, okay? So let's just stick a pin in this for a second, and we'll be right back. So what I want to talk about is the air filter, because at this point, we've looked, we know where the mass airflow sensor is. We've looked at it, it looks fairly clean. We're getting a fault saying that something is wrong with the mass airflow sensor. These things really are pretty bulletproof. If this is visually clean, no cracks, the gasket's in place, I would directly move to start troubleshooting the air filter before I would even think about replacing this very expensive part. Okay, so we're going to look at the air filter. So there's two clips right here. 1, 2. Just flip them down, and that gives you access to the air filter. Okay, very easy. So many people are paying to get their air filters replaced. So one of the reasons for this video is to show people just how easy it is to replace your air filter, okay? So this is your air filter. Looks in pretty good condition. Looking at the pleats here, I mean, there's no heavy particles in here, so I say that this is serviceable for now, okay? If these pleats were wavy, or if you could look in between and see heavy, powdery material, the filter would need to be replaced. Wavy means that dirt, dust have built up on the filter, and then moist air has been pulled in onto the filter, basically creating a very hard compound. And so no air can flow through. And so your engine is really starving for air when you see those pleats. So that filter should be changed out immediately. Another pro tip for you too, if you're, say, driving on a dusty road and your vehicle was working perfectly fine prior to driving on a dusty road, all of a sudden, boom, you see the engine check light comes on. Chances are the light is related to the air filter, okay? So only thing you have to do, one thing, you should probably slow down a little bit. That way you're not kicking up as much dust, right? Or either you're driving behind somebody way too close and your car is just sucking in all the dust that they're creating. So create some distance between the vehicles and you can minimize this problem. But you can pull over to the side of the road, take the filter out, and just tap it on the ground like 5 times, right? And what that'll do is get rid of like 80% of the dust that just got pulled in onto the filter. You can then replace the filter in the vehicle. Not sure if the light will go off, but chances are the light will go off, right? But within about 5,000 miles, I highly recommend that you change that filter out, okay? Because you're never gonna get all that fine dust off of it, and your gas mileage will suffer greatly. You're gonna spend more money on gas than it would be to replace this filter, okay? So that's another tip for you. And with that, let's just go ahead and get this filter reinstalled. Open up the housing, the filter in. Always press all 4 corners of the filter. Make sure it's in place. On this portion of the housing right here, there are 2 holes. And the upper, this part, this moving piece right here, it has 2 tips. And it slides into the lower portion of the housing. Okay, just like that. So we're going to lift up at an angle, and you can see those 2 tips slide into those holes. So this side is good. So now I'm just going to press down firmly and then pull up on these clips. just like this. I'm using this part of my finger. Lift up, lift up. Give it a shake, and this thing's locked down. Working our way back to the mass airflow sensor. Now that we've double checked and we know that the issue is not related to the filter, we're going to clean this sensor as one final troubleshooting step prior to considering the purchase of the sensor. And so what we have here, some mass airflow sensor cleaner. I'm not sponsoring this brand, this just happens to be the one that I have. Earlier I talked about how air flows in here and that there's a little sensor right there. Okay, so what you want to do is just take your nozzle and spray right in there, just like that. Okay, and you really want to saturate this thing. Spray on the sides of that sensor, just like that. And then shake it out. And you want to do that maybe 3 times. And you could probably see already that even though there was only a light coat of dust on here, this is much cleaner, okay? And the cleaner this is, the more efficient your ECM will be able to calculate the correct air-fuel ratio. So I recommend that every time you change your oil, you should clean your mass airflow sensor. All right, it's like a little instant tune-up for your car. That's just a pro tip for you. I've seen it work, it works great. One warning I have for you. When you're cleaning this, do not touch that sensor right there. Never, do not touch it. You can spray it all you want, but do not touch it. Same thing here, do not ever stick anything way down in here thinking you're gonna clean that. Don't do that. Spray it just like I did at a slight distance, because if you damage that sensor, this whole thing is gone. So don't do that. At this time, I think that just about wraps up what I want to cover. So let's go ahead and get this sensor installed. So I see that little notch right there. And actually there's a notch right there, right? So I'm gonna slide it in. That fits pretty good. Take it out. Slide it in, and you notice it doesn't fit as well, okay? Even though there's a notch there, this doesn't fit as well. And honestly, you can't even put screws in. If I try to put a screw in here, the screw hole doesn't even line up. See that? Okay, take it out, put it back in correctly. You see we've got our screw holes lined up. All right. Get a screw down, maybe 90%. Okay, that's 90%. Now remember, you have that gasket. And so now you want to shake it and make sure that gasket is in place before you start tightening down on it. So same thing, that's all you need to do, just like that. Once you get it snug, grip it, push down, turn. There you go. Last step, we're going to look at our female connector. And we're making sure those openings are nice and straight, ready to receive those pins. Also, there's a red or orange gasket in there. Make sure that gasket is in place and not deformed. Okay, I don't see any issues. Slide this over, listen for the click. There you go. Well, folks, that wraps up this video on the removal and replacement of the mass airflow sensor on this 2025 Nissan Kicks with the 2.0 liter engine. I hope you found my tips to be helpful. Please like and subscribe. And until next time, drive defensively.